He worked his way up, he climbed that mountain, and then when he got to the top, he reached back down and he helped me and so many others rise. I'm eternally grateful to Joe Duke.
Nobody is more deserving of this award than Joe Duke. Joe was the guy who gave me the job that changed my life. And I think there are so many people who can say the exact same thing about Joe.
I wouldn't have this relationship with New Orleans. I wouldn't have the husband I have. I wouldn't have the family I have. I wouldn't have the job and the career I have if not for Joe Duke.
Joe knew how to be a reporter. He knew how to be a photographer. You know, he knew all facets of the business. And that experience is probably what molded him into the news director and later the job he got at CBS, you know.
He was a journalist first and beyond all other things, because he was always thinking, he was always engaged, and he was always asking questions to you to make sure that you understood the story that you were assigned to. I mean, one day I was having a mental block with a story, and he said one time, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to edit the story and write it for you?
The fondest memories I have of 40 years in the business are working with Joe Duke.
Thank God I was assigned to a person who valued the human quality above all else.
When he and I were cameraman, reporter, it was never like work. It was just fun, you know, covering tough stuff. Joe and I were in Guatemala together during that terrible earthquake, and it was probably the single greatest experience of my life with Joe in covering a major story like that in a foreign country. It was just amazing.
There was a fire in one of the housing developments, and there were some children trapped inside. And the firemen had to go in and rescue these children, and they came out with a little boy. He must have been about 3 years old. His hair was drenching wet. His clothes were just saturated with water and smoke, and his head was hanging back limp. Joe was shooting, and he was following the firemen out of the housing development unit with the fireman with this kid in his hand. And I turned, and there were tears rolling down his eyes, like that. And both of us, after that, we stood in silence.
He wanted from all of us was not to leave our humanity at the door, but to carry it with us wherever we went.
A mark of true leadership, whether it's the news business, the military, or anything else, is having the type of personality that makes people want to do a better job because they want to hear from you, good work. And that's the kind of effect Joe had on people.
If you want to ensure that the people looking for the facts are people with integrity and an understanding of what it means to be factual and what it means to be fair, then you want a person like Joe Duke in the newsroom somewhere.
When Joe arrived at WWL and was named news director, I had been a reporter in the field for 10 years, more than 10 years. And he called me in one day and he surprised me. He said, Sally Ann, we're going to start a new show. It's going to be the early edition, and I want you to anchor it. It was like, what? But that's Joe's gift. Joe looked at everyone with fresh eyes. He not only helped me and opened doors for me, he opened doors for so many others.
And there is no greater legacy than to have people who are journalists in the true sense of the word around the country and the world telling stories. And you help to shape who they are through your integrity. I mean, what better legacy is there than that?
The reason Joe was able to recognize potential in different people is because he had been in the trenches. He knew what it was like, and he just recognized what he called it. And I will say that Joe has it.
I thank the good Lord that he is in the job he's in right now, because there is no profession that needs him more in this day and age than the profession of teaching.
He's going to be able to motivate and encourage and inspire and educate this generation coming out of school. He's precisely where he needs to be.
He was always a teacher. Now he's just formally, he's got the job and the title.
I learned the restraint of tongue and pen from Joe. I learned how to listen during an interview as opposed to doing all the talking.
He helped me to realize that it is okay to get involved. And I'm a better person today because of Joe.
Well, it's important for the press club to honor Joe because of his lifetime of service to the community in New Orleans and the job he did in Houston, job he did at CBS. But it's a recognition that he was the best of the best.
I'm so glad that he is being recognized with this Lifetime Achievement Award from the New Orleans Press Club, because there's no one who deserves it more than Joe Duke, because it gives us an opportunity to say to the world and to say to him, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
So Joe, no one is more deserving of this award than you. I'm indebted to you. I have my career because of you, and I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our recipient of the Press Club of New Orleans Lifetime Achievement Award, Joe Duke.